And
Okay. Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are helpful to parents all around the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not able to attend this meeting live can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Shelley. We're so proud, so thrilled to have you here.
yes, we are thrilled to have you here. And we've had Shelley speak to us several times in the past. She's always amazing. And I'm going to just read a little bit about her. Join Shelley Wilson for an inspirational and empowering discussion intended to remind us of the power we behold. Through positivity, authenticity, and heart-centered consciousness, Shelley aims to assist us with acknowledging and integrating this expansive, magical energy so that we can create and truly live a life we love, a life with passion, presence, and purpose. Using her psychic and mediumistic abilities, healing gifts, and teachings, Shelley will also respond to your questions and offer you messages of love, hope, and inspiration from your angels, guides, and loved ones in spirit. Shelley Wilson is an author, intuitive medium, and conscious creator who is passionate about helping people wake up to their greatness. She supports others as they navigate their own journey into consciousness to experience aliveness. Shelley's books, 28 Days to a New You, Connect to the You Within, Journey into Consciousness, and Embracing the Magic Within, are available in paperback and ebook. She is also the creator of Cards of Empowerment and Clarity Cards. And you can reach her at shelleyrwilson.com or embracingthemagicwithin.com. I'll put those in the chat box. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming beautiful Shelley Wilson. Welcome, Shelley.
Thank you so much. And I am so delighted to be here once again. I always appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to this wonderful group. I know, of course, that all of you are brought here together for one reason, and we're also recognizing too how important it is when we recognize that life does continue, that our loved ones in spirit are communicating with us all the time. It's just a matter of us tuning in, paying attention, heightening that awareness, and trusting that is really them connecting to us. So tonight, to begin with, I'm open to answering questions. So if there's some questions that you have, Irene and Elizabeth will read those to me. We'll do that just for a little bit, and then I'll offer some messages. And then I do want to share with you a bit more about the cards that I've created. Both of these decks of cards are intended to offer you an inspirational message. Some people like to work with them as a type of divination tool to connect to their loved ones in spirit as well. So I'll talk more about that after a while, but let's see if there's any questions right now.
Well, great. I want to tell you that I do have someone saying that they're reading Embracing the Magic Within. So this is Angie, and she says it's so good. And I think that people were not quite ready to possibly ask questions. Okay, Richardetta is saying, I'd like to ask how you know it's a sign versus a coincidence. Could you maybe address that question for us?
Well, I think, and I'm getting chills as I'm about to say this, first of all, you're going to feel it. And what if a sign is a coincidence as well? I mean, is that possible? It can be. But I think the main thing is when we recognize, once again, the signs can be those number sequences that we see on the clock or on a receipt or even a license plate. It could be song lyrics coming into our awareness, whether it's on the radio or in our mind. It could be those animal messengers like the birds and the butterflies and the dragonflies and so on, even those pennies from heaven, the feathers and so on. The main thing is when a sign comes to you, how do you feel? And if you feel good and it brings you comfort and perhaps even joy, I'd say you've got to accept it and recognize it as a sign from your loved one. I know for myself, my grandmother tends to show up as a yellow butterfly, and her birthday is tomorrow, and she's been in spirit for 3 years now. And this yellow butterfly was hanging around yesterday, hanging around today, and I definitely took it as a sign of her being near me.
Oh, that's beautiful. There are some other questions that have to do with the signs as well, but one of the questions that I see that people have asked in the past is um, about reincarnation. What happens if my son reincarnates before I cross? Could you maybe address that?
Yes, I do get that question asked a lot because a lot of people fear and worry that their loved one in spirit may not be there when it's their time to cross over. And I feel that in instances that is possible that that soul does decide to reincarnate, but I also fully believe that there are soul contracts or agreements that whether it's made knowingly on a human level, which to me in most instances it wouldn't be, but it'd be made on a soul level, that just I'll be here, I'll wait. And I recognize too that sometimes a child, especially a child that was young when they passed, may very well have the opportunity or choose to come back during your lifetime, may come in perhaps as a grandchild or a nephew or niece or something like that as well. So to me, have the awareness of the possibility, but at the same time, don't stress about it. And just know too that more than likely there was probably some type of agreement made even before you chose to incarnate.
That's beautiful. And I think that I've heard a lot of people say that we can exist in both over there and over here at the same time. So I'm sure that your children will be there to greet you no matter if they have reincarnated. They're still going to be over there, just as we are actually over
Yes.
there. And we're interacting with them, especially at night. And this is just something that I have heard, but there's interesting question about forgiveness that actually is a direct message to me. How does forgiveness play into connecting with our children, particularly if they passed by suicide with no warning signs? Could you maybe address that?
Yes, and definitely that question can be interpreted in a few different ways. And right away, I want to read it more so as the parent blaming themselves that perhaps they didn't do enough or they weren't tuned in. And my sense is definitely, we recognize that that's one of those human emotions, and it can be very heavy. We can feel that. And my feeling is definitely is to know that absolutely that sometimes when people do make a choice to transition, once again, more than likely this idea or this thought may have been there, or maybe may have been part of a life lesson or something prior to even incarnation. That's really hard for us, once again, to understand on a human level. And I feel like there's very many layers to it. The main thing for you is to sit with the emotion, whatever that emotion may be, even that emotion of blame or even wanting to forgive someone or forgive yourself, but also just keep coming back to your human. I always go back to the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. To me, that is a guidebook for living life. And the fourth agreement is always do your best. And remember, when we're faced with challenges or hardships, we're going to do differently than when life seems to be a bit easier.
That's beautiful. I have a few different questions that, but I'd like to skip over and just help Jennifer, because this is a question that I think is important to answer. I have been struggling lately with the not knowing where my son, that my son is safe, and not afraid or wondering where his mommy is. Could you maybe tell a little bit about why she shouldn't be worried?
Okay, and as you were reading that question, Elizabeth, I got chills all over. And to me, chills is definitely a message, a physical sensation from spirit, from my guides, even loved ones in spirit, that that is something important to talk about, or that is truth. And my sense is, first of all, our loved ones in spirit, even though they're not in physical form, they're still energy. That energy is around us. But it's important not to see them as lost or searching. There are many other people, spirits, energies, whatever term you would like to use that you find comfort in on the other side that is there with them. So even a lot of the children that are the parents are part of helping parents heal, I have no doubt that they have met and become acquainted with one another on the other side. And that's why they're helping this organization to help others too. So the main thing is whatever you're feeling inside, having those worries, concerns, because especially when children pass young, we know they need that support. We know they need people to care for them. And just know that there are others looking out for them, caring for them, and so on.
That's 100% sure. And I know that Morgan, who loved to carry his little cousins on his shoulders, he's carrying all these kids around on
Children.
his shoulders right now. Carly's taking care of them as well. They're all together. They're all having an absolute blast. And they're not missing us because they can hug us. And even if we are not necessarily feeling that hug, they feel that hug. Is that correct, Shelley?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what I see in my mind as you were describing that, because I have seen pictures of Morgan and of Carly and of many of the other children. I just see children everywhere in my mind's eye. And, you know, the weather is perfect. There's no need to be concerned for stormy weather or things like that, or being in the elements, because this heaven is, in essence, a paradise, is how I would want to view it.
That's beautiful. Shelley is asking an interesting question. Is it true that this time of the year is the easiest time to communicate with the other side because the veil is the thinnest? Have you heard
Yes,
anything about
yes, I've absolutely heard that. And a lot of it, you know, has to do with even people's view of Halloween or All Hallows Eve and other of the holidays during this time, different belief systems and so on. And even during the full moon, that is a time that becomes easier to connect as well. But I will tell you, regardless of the time of year, regardless of the moon phase, you can heighten your awareness where the communication seems to be easier as well.
That's beautiful. Goodness. Um, Linda's asking, how can you tell when your child hugs you? Could you maybe describe that a little bit?
Yes, well, because their energy, remember, they no longer have that physical body encasing their energetic body. So they're going to tend to blend with you. And what I find is many times they come from behind, and it's as if they're wrapping their energy around you like a coat. But this energy feels like a vibration. Sometimes it's tingly, sometimes it's warm and buzzing and things like that. But it feels wonderful. It feels very soothing, very calming. Sometimes they'll blend from the front. When we give hugs, it's usually heart to heart, front to front. But there's something about when our loved ones in spirit connect with us, they embrace us from behind.
That's beautiful. Well, I just want to say that I've gotten many hugs from Morgan, and the first thing that actually set me out on this journey was that Morgan hugged me when he was in Tibet, and it was almost as though I was drinking red wine and it was going through me and calming me. And it was every time that I tried to cry, I would feel this enormous hug and I could feel him squeezing me and he wouldn't let me. So I think that if you're open to receive these hugs, these kids love giving hugs and they're giving these hugs, they're feeling them themselves, which is really important to understand. So they're not missing out. But it is great when we are aware enough to be able to understand that we are getting a hug. I was wondering, maybe we could get started. There are other
Yes,
questions and maybe we can address some of them after, but if you'd like
perfect.
to, we can get started with some
Yes,
messages.
that sounds wonderful. And so, first of all, I am feeling a female energy step forward and recognize everything comes through me, thoughts, feelings, impressions. Sometimes things are literal. Sometimes when I get names, that it is their name or a connector name. So it may be your name or a sibling's name and so on. But I hear names and I always like to honor them. And hopefully it will make sense. I also feel how many times they passed or have health conditions, so I like to address that also. So, as I said, I feel a female stepping forward, and I'm hearing a couple of names. I'm hearing the name Roxy and Rosie, and I know those are very similar. And also, of course, this could be short for Roxanne or Roseanne. And as I said, hearing both of those, I see this person probably late 20s, early 30s. They could have been younger than that and looked mature. And I'm seeing the actress, comedian Molly Shannon. So if any of you remember, she was on Saturday Night Live for a while, Molly Shannon. But that will give you a visual, dark hair, round face that I see with this person. I'm getting a sense too that there was accident with her death, either a vehicular accident or another accident that would be deemed, but I'm not getting an illness connected with her. Okay. I'm also getting this sense of tan skin, could be tanned from the sun or could be tan because of culture, race, perhaps Hispanic, but not want to say that's absolute. Okay.
So I'm looking right now. It doesn't look like we have anybody identifying with this yet. Please type if you are identifying with this in the chat box so that we can maybe speak to you. Anyone getting this? Not so far.
Nothing's in there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
And the skit that I'm seeing, we think of Molly Shannon, but her and Will Ferrell did that cheerleading skit. So seeing her in the pigtails, that's what's coming through. And as I said, I feel that Rosie or Roxy is connected to her.
Let's see. I definitely am. My daughter. Okay, let's see. My daughter passed. Her beloved dog's name was Rosie. She's medium dark Hispanic at 21. So this is Ricardetta, who is saying that her daughter passed at 21 and her beloved dog's name is Rosie. Would that sound?
Okay, I'm getting chills with this. Now, by chance, did she look a bit older for her age, or is there something even where that description makes sense, or something even with when I was talking about that Molly Shannon or that skit?
Okay. I'm waiting for that, but Mary is also saying, and this is different yes, car accident, worked at NBC, same network as SNL.
Ah, okay.
Actually, but many years after, and her name was Roseanne.
Okay, so we've got a couple of people that are fitting now. Did I see someone's hand up too that this may have made sense with? Because thought I saw a little hand up.
I don't see, let me look.
Okay.
So,
Marla, I see her over here on the screen. Marla's iPad.
okay, Marla,
She
does
could
this
put it in the chat,
sense to you,
please.
Marla, if you could just say something in the chat for us?
And keep in mind, sometimes they will piggyback. So this can be more than one wanting to come through at the same time. But I know that when you were reading the first one to me, I was getting chills all over the first with that.
Okay, so that's Ricadetta. And she, again, that's 21 years old. Her beloved dog
Dog is
is
Rose,
Rosie.
passed in an accident.
Passed in an accident, yes. Let's see.
Do you want
Uh,
us to unmute both of them, Shelley?
Let's go
or-
ahead and do that, and that would be
Okay.
easier than this chat.
So I've asked Ricadetta to unmute, and I will ask Marla also to unmute.
And was there someone else also, a third person?
yes, there's Mary as well. And Mary was
Mary,
messaging me. Her name is just Mary. I'm not sure if we have more than one Mary.
let me look. We have
The one with
just Mary.
yeah.
Okay, I've asked her to unmute as well.
Okay.
So there should be 3 people unmuted.
Okay,
Thank you. So
so
let's
Marla, I see you on my screen here. How does this resonate with you?
Well, my daughter's name was Randy, so it's not really the Roxy but she was a Spartan cheerleader, and that skit was her favorite. That's really the only way
Okay.
and she was 32 when she passed.
Okay, did she look at all like Molly Shannon dark hair?
No, see, no.
What about the accident, passing by accident?
She did pass, well, unexpectedly, it was an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm.
Know, some people can view something like that as accidental as well. Let's hear from Richardetta and see what they have to say.
Hi, it struck me because my daughter did have long dark hair. She is described as dark. She was Hispanic. I adopted her. So she had more of a, like almost Dominican Latin look.
Okay,
She had a dog that was her comfort animal named Rosie, who I still have.
got
And
chills with this. Okay,
she did die by accident. And it was
Okay.
not vehicular. It was
That
a
sounds
whole
like
other accident.
okay. I am getting very strong with you. Let's just hear from Mary real quick to see what they have to
Yep.
say.
Yep, here I am. I had a friend who died about 30 years ago. Her name was Roseanne. She worked at NBC and was on her way to work when she was killed in a car accident. And she did have the long hair and the round face, as you described.
Okay, as I'm feeling into all of this, I feel like Richardetta is who I'm with this. There may be some messages that come through, but I know that I need to come to her first, okay?
Mhm.
So Richardetta, let me come to you if that's okay, please.
Yes, I love that.
Okay, and go ahead and tell me your daughter's first name.
Hope.
Hope. Okay, so I'm getting something too as I tune in, either something connected to an injury to the face or to the jaw. Does that make sense to you, please?
No, the injury wouldn't have been to her face or jaw that I'm aware that participated.
Okay. I need to say this because I feel a tightness in the face. So if I'm not picking up something that was connected with her physical body, have you either been holding things in or having a hard time talking about it or communicating about it?
I have a hard time communicating about her specific death. I found her and I am getting therapy for PTSD. Someone she knew, she suffered from anxiety. That's why she had the comfort dog. Someone she knew gave her a Xanax that was a street Xanax. It was fentanyl and killed her.
Okay. Okay. I am so deeply sorry for this. I know it's definitely has been traumatic and it was definitely accidental and unexpected. I know that she's wanting to say, first of all, with giving me some of the images, maybe there's something she's saying about, Mom, you need to laugh, you need to lighten up, because I know you're wanting to connect with her very deeply, Richardetta. And the thing is when your energy feels heavy, it will be very hard for her to be able to get through to you. Okay. I'm sure
Okay.
you remember those skits, because I remember my time, not saying we're the same age by any means, but I just get a sense about how I always laughed from the silliness. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now I know what she's wanting to say too is there's something that you're needing to either you're blaming, and you can be very frustrated about it, and understandably, especially with her being very trusting and thinking she was getting something and she got something else. I don't necessarily feel that the person, that it was intentional. I get a sense that they very well could have taken the same substance and the same thing happened to them. Okay. There's something too, though, because I'm feeling a lot of heaviness, and I feel like this is your heart heaviness, your anguish that you're feeling. But there's something definitely about the trauma that you experienced from finding her, and also the trauma that you continue to relive every day, that needing to speak about it is essential at this time. Okay. When I tuned in and I asked if there was some injury or trauma to the face, what it was is my jaw felt like it was fractured. And so what I do want to read that then as your energy, that you're having a hard time talking about it, expressing yourself, and so on, that you're closed off. And you may very well clench your teeth, grind your jaws as well. Okay. She's giving me this sense about being near. There's something too about opening the blinds or opening the curtains. I don't know if you've kept things very dark lately, but she's talking about letting the light in. And of course, that can be literal, opening the window, opening the shutters, but it can also be too more metaphorical, letting that light in. Okay. There's something too about you questioning God or questioning life. There's something about punishing yourself also. She's giving me this sense that there is a lot of healing taking place, and Rosie will help you with that too. Okay. I know
Mhm.
that that's why it was essential that she gave me that name as a connector then.
Okay.
Okay. And what you want to do too is once again, she's just reminding you not to blame yourself, but there is something about someone needing to be blamed. So I don't know if you've actually spoken with authorities, the other person that provided this substance. Like I said, I do not feel like it was knowingly given to them, but they know the source of where they got it. So there is
Right.
something about investigation.
We did that. They actually arrested the person who sold it to the young man who gave it to her.
Okay, okay. Because I just feel, and I've got chills all over with that. There's something about this. We know a lot of young people are passing because of this, and
Mhm.
the term that I'm hearing is poisoning. Poisoning. Sometimes, there are risks taken, especially when we don't know where things come from. But I'm just getting this sense that others are saved, and that's what's important to remember as well. Okay. She is
Okay.
coming to the front of you, Richardetta. I talked earlier about the hug from behind, but she's something about nestling in. I don't know. And this may have been something she did when she was younger, but I see her even at her age, getting in your lap, hugging you, something like that. So I just
No,
see her
she
nestling in.
she did that till the day she died. She always
Okay.
had my lap.
Okay. Because I just see her doing that. And there's something about you seeing that in your mind, you feeling it, knowing that she's still absolutely there, because I'm hearing that you were always a source of comfort for her and that you were
Mhm.
very patient.
Yes. That's spot on. That's perfect.
Good. So Richardetta, I want to leave you with that. Feel her love. Do your best to make it through each day. I know for now it's going to be really tough, but there is something about bringing lightness or laughter to you, because that will make it easier for you to be able to connect with her.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome. Peace be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So let's see, I'm not picking up anything else to add to that. I hope that others may have benefited from that message as well. There's something that resonated. I'm feeling a young man stepping forward right now. I'm hearing the name Miles or Milo. I'm getting a sense too that of a rural life, a country life, maybe a country boy, a farm boy. I'm seeing a young man literally out in a pasture, thinking of even Kansas area, perhaps. That's where I was born in the first part of my life, but that kind of space. I'm also recognizing, I feel that he was probably late teens. I want to say like 15 to 17, not quite sure he was legal to drive, but I know in some rural states, they can get a driver's license early as long as they're doing things with the farm. So I want to recognize that. Does this make sense to anyone before I go further?
So if it's making sense for someone, please just write in the chat box. Let's see. Obviously, that was an amazing reading, and Terry is just reiterating that. But let's see. And people are talking about the fentanyl epidemic as well that has touched all of us.
Maybe we need to touch on that a bit in a little bit too, because I know I know there are a lot of parents that have children that have transitioned because of that, for sure.
You're right, that's for sure. But let's see if we can identify this young man between 15 and 17, Miles or Milo. And let's see. So my son worked on a farm. His sister had a horse named Miles, but he is older, 22.
Okay. And once again, sometimes they may either look younger or look older or things like that. I'm doing my best to put an age on what I see also.
Okay, so possibly, let's see. Cheryl is saying, my daughter had a friend named Miles who passed by suicide. He was on her CC team. We are from rural Michigan. His mother doesn't belong to the group. Okay. So let's go back here. The son who works on a farm.
Yes, I think we should ask that person to unmute and at least
Okay.
let you speak to her
Sure.
or him. I don't know what it is. It's
Scissors.
Hi, it's Heather.
Heather. Okay, Heather.
Yes.
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
So let's see, I'm going to try to spotlight you. So if you could just say something once again, because now I'm spotlighting myself and I don't want.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Good.
So Heather, this is a friend of your daughter's is what you're saying that passed, and he passed from by choice. Is that correct?
No. His sister has a horse named Miles, and he worked on a farm.
Okay. And he's in
So-
spirit.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Let me sit with this. I thought I saw another message pop up for a moment. And I was getting chills as I was reading it, but I didn't catch the whole thing too.
Let's see. Just checking.
someone has an aunt named Auntie Milo, Dylan.
Dylan, aged 19, has an auntie still here. Auntie Milo grew up in the country.
Mhm. Okay. Let
So-
me go ahead and unmute that person also. I just want
Sure.
to feel into their energy, please.
Okay, so that's Joe.
Yes, I've asked Joe to unmute.
Good.
Hi, everyone. Joe from New Zealand.
No.
Joe.
Okay, so you have an auntie, Milo. Your son is Dylan, and he was 19 when he transitioned.
Yes, he has an Auntie Milo.
Okay, and is it rural area that you would have lived in, he would have lived in, okay? Would it even be considered a bit of a country boy or farm boy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm feeling like I'm with you, Joe. May I come to you?
Yes, thank you.
Let me just build his energy here for a minute. Now, I get just this sweetness about him when I tune in. I feel like he was definitely a lover of animals, a lover of life, maybe even a lover of Mother Earth. You know, there's something about even an environmentalist type thing. Does that make sense with him? Okay,
Definitely.
because I get a sense too that there was something. My cat jumped up here, so I'm going to pull her down real quick, very subtly. There's something too about, and he's not giving me how he transitioned, which I find very interesting at this point. Did he tend to be very private, very reserved?
Yes.
Okay, because
Sorry.
no,
Outgoing
what
in many ways, but very hard on himself. So internalizing.
internalizing, okay, because I do see him being very quiet, being keeping to himself, but spending a lot of time outdoors, almost like that was his church, so to speak, you know, or that was where he connected to source, connected to God, that kind of thing. Does that make sense with him?
Yes, he was pretty outgoing in lots of ways, and but very private with his own feelings and thoughts.
Okay, would keep to himself. Now, there's something when I tune into him too. I want to say definitely heart connected to you, connected at the heart. But there's something I don't know if he had a broken heart or was feeling depressed, or there was something heavy about him too. Okay. Now,
Definitely.
okay, you also said he tended to be very hard on himself. So I don't know if he was feeling very challenged and he felt um, like there were no other ways. Does that make sense? Or almost like he had to leave. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Hey, now did he choose to transition? Does that make sense with him?
Yes. Yes, he
Okay.
died by suicide.
Okay, because I'm just feeling this pain. It feels almost like a sharp pain in the heart. Um,
He was brokenhearted. Yes. Yes.
was there a relationship with someone that went sour?
Several. Yes.
Okay, because he's just saying that he didn't know what else to do. Joe, I get this immense amount of gratitude that he has because there's something about either he didn't tell you enough or he didn't feel like he told you enough, how much he loved you, how much you made a difference to him. There's something too about you being able to go out into nature and walk his path. So I don't know if you've actually been taking walks, perhaps walking where he may have been or so on, talking to him there, but he's giving me this sense about you already feeling him, but you need some validation or confirmation that it is real and that it is true.
Thank you. Yes. He knows his mama. I know. I know. Thank you, Shelley. I know.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for this opportunity to connect with him.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Much love.
Yes. Okay. Oh, and as I said too, sometimes, you know, I recognize that there's so many people wanting to make that connection with their loved ones, and just know that many of them are wanting to communicate with you through others. That's why it's so important. If there's a message or something resonates, go ahead and receive it as well, because it's meant for you also. Okay. So let's see what else who else wants to come through? I'm seeing a younger boy right now. I feel like he's 3 to 5, could be 2 to 4, but I'm seeing him in a hospital gown. I'm seeing him in the hospital. I feel like he probably passed in the hospital, and I get a sense of a cancerous condition with him. I am seeing him bald, and I'm seeing his skin a bit jaundiced, his face full also. I'm hearing a couple names. I'm not sure that they are connected to him, but once again, they could be a connector. But I'm hearing the name Grant, and I'm hearing the name Ryan. And these could be last names also, as we recognize.
Elizabeth, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Sindhuja is saying that her son is similar. His name is Vayan. Let's see. Okay, so far, so is your son about the same age, or was he when he transitioned then, Sindhuja? Yes, she's saying yes.
Okay. I'm
Does
asking
that
to
make
unmute.
sense? Does that make sense with him also of how he passed? Because I feel like that is essential.
Okay, and so the way
Ye-
that he passed, Sindhuja, is cancer, and about between 2 and 5 years old, is that correct?
yeah, Elizabeth. He didn't have, like, I mean, he was undergoing bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
So yeah, so he was in the hospital, yeah, for some time. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and he went through all the chemotherapy, and he was bald and everything. Yeah,
Okay. I'm getting chills all over. And please say his name again for me.
it's VN.
Bien. Okay. Very
VN.
close
VN.
to Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Bien. Okay, so right away, I get this sense of just calling you mama. Mama, I'm here. And I literally feel like he, even though he could walk and such, but there's something about you lifting him up, because I see him wrapping his legs around your waist and just arms around your neck and just leaning on. This, of course, may be how you carried him as well, but I just get this sense of him wanting to come into your arms, wanting you to be able to feel him also, okay? He's showing me smiling. I definitely want you to know that he's healthy and whole and well and at peace. But there's something too about you going through those memories or reflecting over and over again the final days, final moment on. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I couldn't, like, yeah, I can't like wake up each day, and like I wake up each day thinking of that, and every day I go to sleep thinking of that, because yeah, it was a lengthy time. It was like 8 months. So yeah.
And I feel that the reason he was showing me that, because that's what you have imprinted in your mind, seeing him there, seeing him in the hospital, and knowing what he was going through. And at the same time, I feel like, he did his best to be able to go through the treatments. Hope was there for him and such. And I just get a sense almost that his body was just too weak. His physical body was too weak to be able to sustain it any longer. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. But I know he's definitely in your heart. I know he's definitely close to you. And there's two, I just get a sense, does he have an older brother?
No.
Okay, I'm seeing an older child. Maybe this is a cousin or another relative, but I'm just getting this sense of, maybe even having a hard time being able to view that child and knowing that Bien is no longer. So I don't know if that's something you've actively talked about, or it's just something perhaps even you're keeping to yourself.
I mean, he was our only kid.
Okay, that's why the sense that I get is either you're looking at someone, it may not be someone related to you, but looking at someone that would be the same age and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps their interaction with their family.
Yeah, yeah, I can resonate that. Yes, yeah.
I just know that Bien loves you, that he wants you to know he's okay. And once again, he's healthy. Says, don't worry, Mama, I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He's
I
got
just
many people looking after him too. Just know
Mhm.
that. Okay. So there's no need to worry if he's alone.
Yeah, yeah. That was my main concern. Like, I mean, who is even there for him there? Yeah.
I see an older man with him looking after him. So I feel like this is probably a grandfather
Mhm.
that's keeping an eye on him. And I just see this man like putting his hand on his shoulder, like saying, right here, stay with me, is the feeling.
Okay. Yeah. That, yeah, that I just felt like, my grandfather and grandmother might be like, taking care of him. I just used to
Absolutely.
think like when this thought comes over. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. So I'm going to leave you with that. And peace and blessings to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ellie. Yeah. Thank you.
Very welcome. Okay. So I have one more coming through, if that's all right.
Of course.
Okay. So I'm hearing the name Trevor or Travis. The T, R, and E are very prominent. And this young man that I'm seeing, once again, he looks to be about 12 to 14. I see a sheepish grin on his face. I see strawberry blonde hair, so not bright red, but not blonde, kind of in between. And I see freckles just across his nose here. He's giving me this sense about being a bit mischievous too. And I'm just getting the sense that there is a strong possibility that he passed very suddenly, once again, unexpected, and he may have even played a role in his transition also. I get this sense that there was a lot of sadness within him, around him. There may have even been some confusion, hormonal confusion or confusion with his body changes. But the sense that I get, he's showing me smiling with a sheepish grin. So I feel too that he could have been very sensitive to energies and tended to keep to himself a lot.
Nothing yet. Elizabeth, you're muted.
Now I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
It's
there you are.
my screen is different than it normally is. Sindhuja, lots of love to you. Goodness gracious. And does this resonate with anyone? So we have a bunch of different information. Trevor Travis looks about 12 to 14, sheepish grin, strawberry blonde, freckles, mischievous, passed suddenly, unexpected. Perhaps he played a role in his passing. She feels a sadness from him, hormonal confusion. Does anyone identify with this Trevor Travis?
And I'm hearing too that he felt like he had no one to talk to. So I just get a sense once again, he was internalizing things or keeping to himself. He keeps showing me holding a frog. I don't know if this is a stuffed animal or an actual frog, but it's a good size because he's got a hold of it in its body and it looks pretty big. So it could be a stuffed animal or it could be real.
Okay, lots of people are saying nice things to Sindhuja, but David's saying our daughter made a stuffed frog and would tease us about Trevor. I'm not sure who Trevor is. So this is a daughter who passed, I guess, David is saying. A name she made up. She made up a name.
I definitely feel like this is a boy, a male energy, and may or may not be his name once again, but that could be a connector. But I'm definitely seeing a male, unless this person was a tomboy that would keep their hair short or pulled back. But I'm seeing, as I said, 12 to 14, the strawberry blonde hair and the freckles.
She has a buzz cut, David's saying.
Mhm.
It's a possibility.
And is the age the same? Because that's important or close to it.
David, could you let us know between 12 and 14, maybe? Let's see. We've lost David. She appeared much younger than her age. Okay, but what was her age, David?
And also 17. Okay. And also the feeling depressed or sadness, no one to talk to, and perhaps also choosing to make the transition. I feel like that's important, an important connector.
Okay, he's saying yes to those. Let's see.
Martina?
Martina is saying maybe my son Jacob, but no freckles, brown hair, buzz cut, 17 years old.
Let's go ahead and unmute David,
Okay.
just because I want to feel his energy again.
I've asked him to unmute. Hi,
Okay.
David.
Hi, David. Can you say hi? Just so I can see where you are.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
David, okay,
Hi.
does everything fit with your daughter that I mentioned? The description, maybe not the age, but you said talk to Trevor, which was someone that was perhaps a guide or someone that she could see, and a stuffed frog.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Can I go ahead and get your daughter's first name?
Audrey.
Audrey, okay. And let's just feel into Audrey for a moment. Now, did she also, I'm just hearing liked playing games or liked testing you. I don't know if it was mental games, but there's something about needing to keep you on your toes or keep you guessing. Does that make sense?
Yep. Big time.
Ah, okay. So I'm getting chills. I know I'm with you, David. Okay. That's the way that they give me that signal that I'm with the correct person. Okay. Holding the frog up. I saw that at the end. I feel like that was definitely sealed it, so to speak. And there's something too, the hormonal confusion. Does that make sense with you?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Thank you for that. Because I just get a sense that there was something about you helping to understand her or you helping her to understand. And perhaps there was something too about her teaching you a new way of looking at life or looking through her lens. Does that make sense?
Yes, I got the sense that she was in an altered sense of consciousness in some ways, but didn't take any substances or anything, but nonetheless she
No.
was in contact with something, another reality that was somehow altered from the normal reality.
Yes, yes. And there's something about too, because I think of alternate dimensions, alternate realities, things like that. But there's something about her trying to walk in all worlds, both as a human, as an energetic being, going with gender and everything like that. But I just get this sense of turmoil when I feel into Audrey's energy. I feel that in this solar plexus and that abdominal area. That could mean definitely being sensitive to energies, but there also is something too about her either doing her best to feel empowered, feeling powerful, or having to maintain her power, if that makes sense too. Now, right behind you, I'm seeing this beautiful painting. Is this something that you painted or Audrey painted?
Audrey painted a segment of it, the top right hand, I'm not sure right hand, but the eye.
Next close to you, because there's something about the illumination that's shining that light. And there's something too about looking through the lens. Right away, she's telling me, talk about that painting, because that painting, she's giving me the sense that you want to add more to it or needing to turn it, because she's giving me this sense that if you turn it a different way, you're going to see it a different way. And she's giving me this sense too about that being very metaphorical with life also, that there's something about you needing to shift your paradigm, shift your thinking, or shift your way of being. She's giving me this sense that she's helping you through it all. She said, you taught me, now it's my turn to teach you. And I just know that both of this, I'm hearing about a symbiotic relationship, and this is where we work, we each provide something for each other. So I know that she wants you to have peace with her transition. There's something too about you staying in your own power, but there's saying something too that this isn't over. She's giving me this sense, and I feel like first she's talking about the painting, but she's also talking about life and the connection the two of you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So David, I want to leave you with that, and thank you so much for this opportunity to connect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. That was beautiful. So we have just a few minutes left, Shelley. I don't know if you'd like to maybe take the time
Yes.
to sum up a little bit.
And she was going to also speak about the cards if she has.
I can do that very quickly.
But also before you do that, I'd love to just tell everyone who got a reading tonight, if you would be willing to send me an email at elizabeth@helpingparentsheal.com to talk about the reading with a picture of your child, that would be wonderful if you'd like to, and I'll put it in the newsletter. But I'll go ahead and let you, I'll write my email in the chat box as you're talking. Okay, thank you, Shelley.
Yes. So once again, I am so grateful for this opportunity to be able to connect with all of you. I trust too, when our loved ones come through during these times together, that there's many meanings, that they're meant to not just touch the person they're intended for, but to touch many. And one thing I want to share too, I created a couple of decks of oracle cards. And once again, we can use these as a type of daily inspiration, or we can use this as a means even to connect with our loved one in spirit. And so the first deck I created are the cards of empowerment. I took all of the pictures myself, and many of them are flowers from my own flower bed, or they're from travels. And the way that I like to work with them is just say, what do we need to know at this time? If you're working with your loved one in spirit, you can say, so-and-so, Carly, or whomever, what do I need to know for today? What do you want to tell me? And then we can shuffle and pull the cards. And so just asking spirit, so the message that they want to convey to everyone is releasing old to make way for new. And of course, we can interpret that many ways. The way that I want to interpret it right now is knowing too that our loved ones, our children in spirit, are no longer here physically. So there's a new way to communicate with them. There's a new way of being, and knowing too that many times their transition is a catalyst for our own life. Sometimes it's a catalyst for us to begin living more fully. And sometimes it's to open us up psychically, energetically, to tune in more. The second deck of cards I created are called the Clarity cards, and these came out when my book, Embracing the Magic Within. These cards are a bit different. There's a dragonfly image, just like on my book cover, but you can also work with them the same way and just say, what do I need to know at this time? So I'm shuffling, and the card coming through for all of us is strive for balance. And what we want to remember is many times we are so busy helping others. Sometimes we're caught up in life and work and things like that. And that's why having balance, it's so important to balance work with play and rest, balance giving with receiving, balance helping others as we also take care of ourselves. So I want to say thank you once again to all of you for this opportunity to bring through your loved ones. Thank you to Irene, and thank you to Elizabeth for having the opportunity to do that.
Well, thank you, Shelley.
That was absolutely beautiful. And we always ask everyone to unmute and say thank you and good night to you as well. And I can't wait to see you and hug you at the conference, and that'll be wonderful. And see everyone at the conference as well. So thank you.
Bye, thank you.
You.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Why is it not working?
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Bye. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Good night. See you tomorrow night.
Good night.
Bye.